So, I have seen Spirited Away. You guys have not.
Correct.
The last time I watched it, I was a wee lad.
A wee lad?
A wee lad. Because I mean, like,
Oh.
I was like
you were going
6 or
wee-wee?
7 years old, about 6 or 7 years old, and I had this recorded on VHS.
Oh, damn.
VHS.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I recorded this off of a Toonami on
Way to date yourself,
Cartoon Network.
old man. What are you, like 47?
Yeah.
about close enough. And so I remembered moments from this, like visual moments from this that I thought were really like striking as a child, but I didn't remember the overall plot to it. So this
Okay.
is basically a fucking rerun for me. Like this is something new as well to me, as I never watched this over the age of 10.
Hey, fair enough. I was going to say.
I am now
definitely-
46.
Wow. Yeah, because this came out in what, 98 or something. So
Something like that.
So yeah, the math definitely adds up there.
You guys have watched anime, but you aren't familiar with Studio Ghibli, right?
Well, I'm familiar with it.
Well,
I
I'm
just haven't
familiar
seen one.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Same.
That's what I meant. Like you guys have
Yeah,
never
yeah.
watched anything by
No,
them.
I
Never
have
watched
not.
anything, but I've
I
been
have-
meaning to.
Yes, me too, and I've heard very good things about a few different ones. This one was one of them, so I was like, I'll just put it on the list because why not? I was wanting to watch one anyway, so.
Yeah,
and
they're
they've
very
up-
much like the Disney of anime, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind of what I wrote.
100%.
I wrote that down actually while we were watching. I was like, okay, this is very much like a Disney, like Pixar for, Japan.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people who'll be like, I don't like anime, but I like Studio Ghibli films.
Yeah.
And like some people are like, I don't like animated TV shows or movies, but I love Disney stuff,
Yeah, right, exactly. And this is that's a good example too because it doesn't feel like a lot of the anime that we've seen,
No,
Um,
it doesn't.
It just feels like a regular animated movie, besides like the mouths not really lining up with what they're saying because it's originally in Japanese, but other than that, I mean, it feels like a normal animated film.
We all watched the dub on this one because
Yes.
Tristan can't figure out how to work HBO Max.
HBO Max, you gotta work better with stupid people.
That is true.
Fair
But-
enough.
I will give this Studio Ghibli movies never look unpretty.
Right.
no, it
yeah.
was
That
beautiful.
was very
Because
good.
This animation could stand now. Like this could have just came out.
Oh, I agree.
Like
This
the
is-
colors are a little
Yep.
washed for modern, but other than that, like the attention to detail that happens in every little scene and the way things move, it's just like I'm usually not one to pick on that despite watching a bunch of anime, but it's so striking how natural everything feels and looks
100%.
that like I was just like, man, I kept writing notes like, fuck, this looks good. Fuck, this looks good. Like,
Yeah.
it was great.
And that's another thing too. I mean, when you take into consideration that this came out, 25 years ago, like
No kidding.
you got to think this is better looking at least than and better in general than like words bubble up like soda pop.
Yeah,
And that came out recently.
Last year.
Yeah. So when you think something that's 25 years older is better, I mean that's insane for its time, and it would be insane now too. So
Especially in something like animation.
right, exactly. Yeah.
So let's stop the jerk off party and move on to the
Yes.
jerk off party. This movie does have a plot, but the plot isn't necessarily the point of it, right?
Yes.
This is one of those movies that I consider
Yes.
like Pulp Fiction, to where it's a character driven piece.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
following Chihiro as she learns to grow up, basically.
Pretty much,
Sort
yeah. I
of.
mean, she's just kind of doing shit, trying to get her parents back. I mean, that's the main plot line is her trying to get home and get her parents back. But
Right.
yeah,
It's becoming accepting of a new place, with her being in the Spirited Away town. It's her learning how to be a hard worker, just not being spoiled anymore with the whole bathhouse stuff. It's her learning to
Right.
care about others. It's like a whole thing, And it's based around the simple, just, she moved towns and she didn't want to. And it's learning to adapt kind of thing, like she had to in Spirited Away place.
yes. And while there's like we said off pod, while there's a lot of things that you're like, I don't know, it's still very, very wholesome at points.
Oh, it's extremely wholesome.
Yeah, except for the indentured servitude.
Exactly. That's what
Eating
I'm saying.
people just randomly. Just
Yes.
There's some stuff that's kind of fucked in this movie.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, so
Humans transforming into pigs.
Yeah.
you
or
know what
the
this
other
movie
animals.
very much reminds me of?
What Disney
What?
movie does it remind you of?
No, you're very right. Alice in Wonderland.
I
I
could see
guess
it.
so. I've never
could see
seen it, but I know the premise.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
it's-
I've seen the old one, not the new one.
It's not. Wait, I was talking about the old one. It's not, the same, but it gives me thoughts of Alice in Wonderland, and so that didn't drive my opinion of this movie at all. But it was just something that I was like, that's a similar idea.
Gotcha. Yeah, I could definitely see where you're coming from there.
Dude, the scene where I remembered the pig scene where her parents transformed into pigs. I
That was
remember
crazy.
Like that was something that stuck with me as a kid, just how fucking ridiculous that looked.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, I know what's coming as they were eating that food. And I was like,
And it's weird, dude. Like, there's like scenes like that. I don't mean to interrupt, but there's like scenes like that one that I swear I've seen before, and like I'm just wondering, like, did I watch this when I was like 5 and don't remember? Because there's scenes like I vividly remember. Like, I vividly remember her parents turning into pigs. I vividly remember the witch at the end making her pick, a pig out. We'll get to that later. I don't want to, spoil that part of it, but I remember some of these scenes, and I don't know if it's because I've seen clips of it. I don't know if it's because I weirdly watched as a child. I don't know.
I don't know if you had
Interesting.
cable around when we were kids.
Yes.
But
Oh yeah. I used to before.
it used to play a decent amount of times on Cartoon Network back when we were younger.
Maybe then.
Because that's where I watched it at, was on
Okay.
Cartoon Network back in the day.
Okay, because I didn't have cable for a while, so I was not watching Cartoon Network.
Yeah, it was very popular back then too, like around the time. Despite having came out in, like you said, the 90s-ish, around the 05, 06, 07 it was really popular again. It got like a second wave.
Interesting.
Because I remember watching this and Howl's Moving Castle. Were
I
I wanna watch
that
that
one's
one
really
too.
good. Yeah.
I've heard Howl's Moving Castle is like number
Sorry,
1 or 2.
that's what
for
I
the
heard as
Studio
well.
Ghibli
That's the one
films.
I like
Yep.
the most and remember the
It's
most
like
about.
that one and My Neighbor Totoro are like two of the top one. Or like
I've
the
never
top
seen
two.
My Neighbor Totoro.
No,
I haven't either.
obviously haven't seen any of these, but yeah, like I said, it's just weird. I definitely remember some of this stuff, so I don't
It
know
is
what I
kinda weird.
haven't seen.
It's just so visually striking though. Like even if you've just seen this once in passing,
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
remember it.
Oh,
like,
100%.
Yeah. Oh, dude, No Face is
Amazing.
I mean, you can't forget No Face.
Yep, and
Not
that's
possible.
another one too. That's another scene. I was like, I've seen this character before, like hands down.
Oh well, that one was easy for me to go. Oh, I've seen because Gravity Falls absolutely just built straight off of No Face
with
for
the
the
Summer
Halloween
Ween
dude.
episode.
Yeah, the Summer Ween.
Oh,
one.
that is true. Yeah, I do remember.
I mean,
that.
that's just
homage.
pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, Gravity Falls very much homages to stuff that influenced it, and that was one of the influences.
So that was, I mean, coming back, seeing this finally, and then looking back at something like that, I'm like, wow, that's really cool that they were able to do something like that where they got, creative ideas from.
How'd you guys feel about the overall bathhouse situation that went on? Because I thought that was kind of like, it was a little dark, I feel like, for a kid's movie.
Yeah, I would agree.
What do you, like, you mean how they were all just kind of on, like, life contracts with the
No,
witch?
they shunned her. They treated her like shit.
Oh, because she was a human?
Yeah, and then they made her sign away her name, sign away her life, basically, into indentured servitude. And then they still treated her like shit, and they made her do the worst of the worst jobs. And then she
Right.
would do something good, like, she would fix the sludge monster or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would be like, oh, she did great. And then something bad would happen. They go right back to, man,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or like they would get No Face in, and No Face is giving out gold. It's like, oh, she did great. And then, No Face starts being No Face, and they go, oh, fuck you.
Yep. I don't know. It's very. I mean, that's kind of human nature, though. Like, or
It
at
is.
least in the popular, the popular world is like, we like good things and we don't like bad things. So if somebody does a good thing, we praise them, and if they don't do a good thing, then we shun them for it. Most of the time, So I feel like that's a good representation. I mean, to be fair, she was kind of shunned from day one, which doesn't very often happen. But I mean, when you think, you think sports, for example. I mean, it's a bad example, but like, a player has a terrible game, and everybody's like, "Oh, fuck that guy," like I ruined us or lost us the game. But he has a good game, and you're like, "Oh shit, like that guy won us the game, like good for him, like cool," and we, give him a round of applause for it. But
Prime
it's-
example, C.J. McCollum.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, you can see that throughout a lot of stuff, work, sports, daily life, but I think that's a good representation of that.
What was your reaction to when No Face, not Blackface, that'd be kind of fucked up.
That's tough.
When No Face went to the bathhouse, and he's been pretty chill the whole movie.
Yeah.
He like slightly
He's a
helped her
homie.
out. He was kind of being like a guardian to her, and then he just fucking snaps and eats the frog.
Bro,
That
I did not see it coming, man, because I thought he was just gonna be a homie. Like, I mean, I was like, there's something dark and mysterious. I feel like he's gonna like have her back to defeat something greater, but he ended
That's
up
what I
being
thought.
that greater evil. So
Yeah,
well,
I thought
kind
that
of.
I thought he was just bribing the frog so he could stay there.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of shocked. I was like, damn, dude, like the not a good guy. Okay.
Because what I remember of No Face was him being just a good guy, the chill little, like just the dude who runs
Yeah.
around and does the little noise thing. But when he ate him, I was like, oh my god, he just fucking ate that frog. Like, I had a visceral reaction to that, dude.
Yeah, it was not his last meal either in that movie.
No, he
No,
ate
he
the
had
whole block. He ate him out of house and home, literally.
2 more
Yep.
people too.
Two
Or
more people
not
and about
people, but
tons of fucking food.
Yeah, dude.
And anything that they would eat, they would give him. I thought it was cool
Oh
how
my
she was the
gosh.
one who was able to drag him away,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
healed him
yeah.
back into being the good dude he was.
With the river spirit medicine
That
ball.
she got from healing Haku
Yes.
after
No.
stuffing.
No, she
no,
got
she
it.
got
from
it. Yeah, go
the
ahead.
sludge monster.
Oh, the sludge monster.
Yeah.
That was not a sledge monster or whatever.
That
It
was
was
the
the
dragon like
dragon.
Haku was.
Yes.
Yeah,
And so that was great.
that was cool.
I thought it was interesting how Zubaba was portrayed as like the evil sister, but then the other sister came and she was portrayed
I
as the
know.
evil sister. But
Yeah.
then that sister was portrayed as the good sister. Like
That was
Yeah,
interesting.
I was
That
I was
cool.
confused as
That was
shit.
cool plot movement. And then at the end, they were like, "Oh, she's not actually that bad," and they basically, I don't know if they were trying to make it seem like they were actually the same person the whole time. Basically, they were like 2 sides of the same coin, in essence, but it was like a 2-head coin, because at the end she started calling the first one Grammy as well, and I was like, okay, so then what kind of, is this a development, or is this like she saw through some sort of trick?
I think that
Yeah.
she just thought she was chill. Like Chihira's a pretty good kid. She thought she was fine. She saved her baby and shit,
That
That do
is
be true.
I don't
I liked
know,
the baby a lot better as the mouse.
bro.
Oh,
the,
yeah.
The baby was huge, bro.
The
I
baby
don't-
was huge. He was also a little asshole when he just threatened to break her fucking arm.
I know, dude. I was
Right?
like, what the fuck? That's what I said too. I said the baby wanted to break her arm. That's tough. The baby out here just fighting people. Like,
Said, "Play with me."
What'd you guys
Yeah.
think of the Haku stuff? Haku and Chihira's
Haku-
plotline.
okay.
It
Here's my
was
thing: is
weird.
I had very much. I had a huge problem with trying to decipher who was good and bad in this show or in this movie. Sorry, because I was like, I was sussing Haku at first. I was like, okay, he's being a little bit too nice, a little bit too good, and then he did some bad stuff because he was like, under the mind control or whatever. And then you're like, oh, he's just, he had mind control, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. He's just, he's the river god, blah blah blah. So like, I really like Haku. I thought he was probably my favorite character actually. But I wasn't able to appreciate him throughout the movie because I didn't know if he was gonna be, a bad dude.
I didn't really suss him out just because I kind of knew from seeing it as a kid that like this is more about the journey of her. So I knew
Yeah, that's
Haku
fair.
was going to be fine. Most of these characters aren't really like one-sided either way,
Exactly.
They're
Yes,
multi-dimensional.
For sure.
So where there's no evil person, there's just people going through things.
Yeah,
Except
and
for
which is-
like the Boiler Man.
He was a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good
Yeah,
dude,
he was cool. I think he might have been my favorite character. He was chill.
I liked
I mean-
Lynn.
Lynn
Lynn's
was very
cool.
cool.
She
Yeah.
was very nice as the older sister mentor.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Was she human or was she like one of the spirits? Because she looked very human.
There's a lot of the humanoid-looking things that were something else.
yeah.
Like
Okay.
Haku looked human, but he wasn't. She called her out for being human. And there was a bunch of other humans there, human-looking people. So I'm not sure. I think they're humans, just human spirits. but technically they're spirits. They're not human,
Right.
I think that was one of my favorite parts actually in this movie is like there wasn't like a good or evil, like, and I feel like that's, modern day media, like TV shows, movies, it's usually one-sided. It's either you're good or you're bad in the show, and it kind of follows a character who's either sided with them or against them. And that's what's cool about this is that, it's really just somewhere in the middle, and you can kind of make your own inferences about who is and who isn't, on her side, which is super cool.
That's true.
Did either of you guys feel like the last section was a little fast?
I
thought a lot of it was kind of fast.
Really? Okay, so I felt like the midsection was pretty slow, if I'm going to be honest, and I felt like it sped up a lot at the end.
The end was especially fast. Like, that's definitely true.
I feel like after she got the ticket to go on the train, it just sped up, like, insanely fast.
So much.
Because there's a lot that happened after that, but it felt like 5 minutes, but it was, I don't know.
Well, here's the other thing is, like, sorry, when they went on the train and they went to what's-her-face's house, the way they portrayed it in the movie was that she was there for, like, just the day and then came back.
What do you mean?
Well,
like, in the movie, it seemed like they got on the train, went there, and then in the same day they came back. But then they treated everything as if she had been there for days or weeks and had learned all this valuable stuff over a longer period of time. But in the movie, it looked like it had only been one day.
I think that's the point, too, is, like, time kind of works different. Like, I mean, they're in the spirit world where, you know, that time might not even be a thing, because, yes, I
see
believe
later with the time thing, too.
Yeah, but I mean, it did seem like she was there for, at least a couple weeks, a month, whatever. But, I mean, in the human world, yeah, she wasn't gone at all, so.
Definitely felt like it sped up. They resolved a lot of plot lines very quickly at the end.
Yes,
very
they
quickly.
Did. No Face got a home to work for because that was his thing. He was a wandering spirit, so he found a purpose. Baby, turns out the baby could have changed back whenever. He just didn't feel like it.
Yeah, that was hella funny.
That was awesome.
And yeah, the old lady hooks her up, gives her some meal, gives her some chat, gives her a package, sends her on her way. She clicks for her what Haku comes and saves her or does something with her, and it clicks for her who he is. He's like, oh, I almost drowned when I was a kid, but I got saved from the river. It was the Kohaku River. I think your name's Kohaku, and boom, it clicks for him. Yeah, that is my name.
That was super cool.
That was a really cool backstory to that. Like, oh yeah, I had an incident and you saved me. Like, you're this spirit of savior spirit to me.
Which made sense sort of for what they were doing, but I was like so thrown off by that.
I thought it was super cool. I didn't have any issue with it at all. One of my things that I wrote is that at the beginning she was the only like responsible person like in the movie, like up until the spirits and all that, but like her parents,
her families were
dunces. That was so stupid, dude. Like, I'm like, dude, you can't be that stupid.
Let's just eat this food that isn't ours.
Yeah, well, the eating the food, let's go in the temple when we have an appointment for the house. Like, I mean,
right?
I'm sorry. I'd taken the shortcut in the beginning, man. Like, just go up the road to the house, man.
Especially when she goes, honey, every time you take us on a shortcut, we get lost.
Once you say something like that, though, the chances of someone doing something they're not supposed to increases tenfold.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's
true.
like, oh, I got to prove her wrong here.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was good characterization.
Yeah, we ain't getting lost this time.
Not this time. Gets turned into pig.
Oh,
damn it.
But then they didn't even remember. The parents didn't even remember, dude.
Exactly. So the guy was right. He didn't get lost. They just came out. And that's another thing. Yeah, like you said with the time. At the end, you can see how long it's been.
Like 10 minutes.
Well, no, not really, because, I mean, the car was overgrown with trees and stuff.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a minute, yeah.
Well, no, but they treated it like they didn't even miss their appointment. Like
they got to it.
Well, no, but here's the thing.
Yeah, we don't know.
Well, we don't know, but they treated it, they were like, oh, is this some sort of prank, treating it as if it hadn't actually been that long and someone had just come
Because
by
the
and
parents-
covered
Because
their
they didn't
branches and
know.
everything.
They didn't know. Yeah, the parents
Yeah.
didn't know. Like, they wouldn't know the time passed like that.
Right, exactly.
I know, but maybe no time really did pass.
It did pass because that was the overgrowth was the showing of time passing.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
what
been a
I'm
while.
thinking,
And
but they
I'll
treated it a
retra-
bit different.
I'll retract my statement from earlier saying that the time didn't pass in the human world because it did. Thinking about it now, yeah, no, that shit. I mean, dude, the car was in a completely different place when they left it. I mean, it was in the middle of the road
That's
with
what I'm
no
s- that's
overgrown,
what I was thinking.
nothing. And then they get out of there, and it's super overgrown. It's in the middle of a bunch of trees. Like, it had to be, I mean, I don't know, 6 months, a year, for that much
Maybe.
overgrowth.
Or the spirits did something.
Come on, Tristan. Read the subtext, bro.
Yeah,
God
come
damn,
on.
we gotta explain
You're
everything for
overthinking.
you. This is why you didn't like Us, huh?
Oh, my God, come on.
Yo, I liked Us.
But dude, this movie was like, it was just chill. Like, that's the best way to
Yeah.
describe it.
It's
It
a
was
great-
kind of like
yeah.
vibes.
Yeah,
It
you
was.
just throw it on and just kind of chill. Yeah, you
Yeah, I
don't really
watched this
gotta
movie
think.
on the big screen for the first time in a while. Like, I actually just sat back and just watched it.
Yeah, I did. I was not like I was paying attention to this one. Like didn't have my phone up most of the time. Like I was invested.
It was like
absolutely.
through the middle of it, I was like, oh, this is all right. But by then, I was like, no, that was really good. Like,
Yeah,
that was enjoyable, man. I get it. I get the hype.
yeah. Kind of wish I watched it. I've said this multiple times on stuff we've watched. I kind of wish I watched this when I was younger. Like I don't.
Oh.
I think it would have been a lot better for me. Because I feel like that's the target audience is children and young adults. But I very much enjoyed it still. So
That's
Yeah,
fair.
man.
I wish I had watched the sub, honestly. However, I don't know if you guys recognized some of the big voices they had in the dub. There was 4 that were like really big.
Look, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Funimation ruled the 2000s, so pretty much every single English dub around that time has the same fucking 5 people in it.
Really?
Even if I don't pick, I started ignoring it because if I don't, I'm gonna hear Piccolo, I'm gonna hear Vegeta in every fucking anime I watch.
oh my god.
Oh, that's funny because in this one, it was Max Goof, Lilo, Meg from Hercules, and then they had John Ratzenberger in there too.
So those 3 names you listed, I would not know off the top because I'm
Same.
not Disney like you are.
Me too.
That's fair. But I mean, I recognized all 3 of them. Granted, I thought it was My Valentine at first, but I looked it up and it was not the same person. I'm pretty sure. So,
Shout out
My Valentine. Oof.
All right.
But
Shout
yeah,
out Meg.
And hey, hey, okay.
We anime stands over here, son. But yeah, the English dub was very good. I
was
enjoyed
good.
it. It was solid.
Yeah.
Like, especially for an older dub, that's really quality.
That's true.
Absolutely
That's actually
it
a good
was.
point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, you could barely tell it was dubbed, in my opinion. I mean, I could have watched this and not known, to be honest, like besides the mouth movement, but
It is what it is, right?
yeah.
So, I think I got ratings for this. You guys got any more comment questions?
I
concerns?
don't actually. I was
I
about
don't
to,
really. I didn't have a
start
ton
that
of notes
myself.
overall.
So, I think for this, I'm giving it a 9
It's a
Oh.
solid score.
because it was great. It was enjoyable. I didn't feel long despite being 2 hours. The animation's pretty beyond belief. I like the overall character arc, and I like the characters themselves. Sure, the plot really wasn't a big of a deal, to the story as it could have been, but that's fine. And then a little bit of pacing issues is why I lose a couple points here.
Yeah, I was about to say that as well, but I think a 9 is super fair. I'm gonna bump it down to an 8.5 for me. I feel like I'm not doing it justice because I mean I don't know what they could have really improved. I just it was the kind of style of movie that I don't normally watch, and I still very much enjoyed it. So again, pacing issues, I was a little bit different. I felt like it did feel like a 2-hour plus movie. Thought it was a little bit long up until the end, but I mean overall I enjoyed it anyway. So 8.5 for me.
That's fair. I'm gonna give it like a 6.5.
Oh,
Wow.
Cause for me, like I enjoyed watching it and it's really pretty. And there was some fun stuff in there, but I mean, the lack of doing anything with the plot and then like it's kind of it's supposed to be a character piece, but I feel like no character really changed that much. Like I didn't feel as if our main character really made any huge strides. I mean, she was doing pretty much the same thing the whole time. She was a caring kind of, kid and a kind heart, and that is just what showed the whole time, and they just found a couple different ways to show that.
I mean,
and I thought that they didn't do much. I just thought that not enough happened for this to be like a good movie. It's pretty and it's fun to watch, but I'm not going to say it's a good movie.
I would argue that she changed a lot in the human world just due to, she was totally against moving. She was leaving behind everything, and she was super upset about it. And in the end, she was totally open to the idea. She was just glad to be back, and she totally, reversed her ideology. And I think that's a big thing, especially for kids, is because nobody wants to move, Nobody wants to leave all their friends behind. Nobody wants to go to a new school. And for her to completely change that mindset, from beginning to the end of the movie, I felt like that was a big change for a child.
Yeah, but she was the other thing is she was half traumatized.
It is true. Yeah, I would be very traumatized. I mean, she was handling that very well throughout the entire movie. Actually,
She did a very good job.
I don't know what I would have done, but I would just argue the point that she did change, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, and that's fair. And changing the perspective like that can, especially in that situation, take a lot from a person, especially a child. So that is pretty big. But seeing as how their main, points were in the spirit world and whatever, it just felt like nothing about her changed that much while she was in there.
Gotcha.
And it just kind of hit when we get her back in, her world, and she feels better about moving now because Haku helped her realize some things, which, by being a dragon, I guess.
I'm shocked this is coming from the Disney guy.
Facts.
But, you gotta fight your rival gang as a big Disney supporter. I understand.
True.
You gotta tear down Studio Ghibli so that Disney can stay on top.
No. It was very enjoyable, dude.
So what, you against LGBTQ rights, bro?
Oh my God, what?
Whoa.
Because you're a Disney guy, is that what you're saying right now?
Wow, dude.
Whoa.
Studio Ghibli's for the people.
Wow.
Yes, it
dude.
is.
It was an LGBTQ joke.
Keep fucking the mouse's mouth.
Whoa! Not the mouse, it's Lynn.
The derail.
Whoa, dude. What? Dude. All right, we got to get out of here, bro. This is getting wild. No.
Yeah, man, Spirited Away was great, bro.
That's
I can't
pretty
believe
good,
we watched it.
That was awesome.
That was great, dude. Woo.